Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Reata Horsemanship. I'm Luke Brown, and I'm very excited to be with you here today on Training Tip Tuesday. And the horse I'm riding this morning is Goldie. And you've seen Goldie before. He's around 15 years old. He's the Pasolfino from Tucson. And his main issue was that he would get stiff and rear up and not want to go away from the barn or from the other horses. So he's very barn and buddy sour. And he has a number of issues like that. And that's his main issue. But there are many ways that I can address that issue. And what I want to talk about today for Training Tip Tuesday, oh, what a beautiful background, first of all. And there's a bike coming up here. I just want to make sure, I'm going to kind of pay attention to the bike and pay attention to Goldie and make sure we don't have an issue here. Good morning. That was beautiful. He didn't budge at all. So he's not afraid of bikes. That's good. So the tip I wanted to give you today is about going straight. So a lot of horses will veer off the straight path. When you set them on a straight path, you want them to go between your legs and between the reins. And if they veer off to the right, then they're going to be pushing on my right rein and my right leg. If they veer off to the left, they're going to be pushing on my left leg and my left rein. And so especially when I'm going away from home, away from where Goldie's home is right now at our place, and especially up here, this has been one of his biggest challenges, is up here along this canal. And he wants to veer away from the edge of this canal, not because he's afraid of the canal, but because he wants to go down to the road below and back home. And so when we're going away and he's veering away from the side, so I use the canal as my line. So it's not straight, but I want him to go straight along the canal. And I want him to stay between my legs and between my reins. And so what happens is, first of all, I give him slack. I don't try to hold him in that position. I don't try to hold him next to the canal. I put him next to the canal and I go forward, and then I let him make a mistake. And that mistake that he makes is he veers off, he looks away from the canal, and he starts to walk away from the canal. And so as soon as he makes that commitment to walk away, I let him go for a couple of steps, and then I'm just going to redirect him with that outside rein, the rein that's closest to the canal, and redirect him back towards the canal, as well as using my inside leg to push him. So I'm using that outside rein to guide him back to the canal, and I'm using the opposite leg. So if I'm using the left rein to guide him back to the canal, I'm going to use my right leg to push him, and I'm going to just squeeze with my right leg, my right calf, and sometimes even bump with my heel right around his girth area to kind of give some extra pressure and encourage him to move over to that side. And then once we get there, I'm going to release that pressure, let him go on a loose rein, and let him commit to a mistake again. And this can go for hours. It can literally go on for hours with a horse as challenging as he is. Some horses will get it after a few turns, or after a few minutes, or what have you, or a few turns in the arena. But some horses just take a lot of work with this, and Goldie is one of those horses. So he's really got ingrained in him that he wants to do his own thing, move his own way, and doesn't want to go straight. And what happens is as I keep getting in his way and keep putting pressure on him, pretty soon he starts tiring out. He starts getting tired of getting pushed on, and he'll start to relax a little bit more and stay along the canal. Now that's the first thing that I do, is guide him with that rein. Second thing I'll do is if he's really pushing with his shoulder and I guide him with the rein, but he doesn't commit to going straight, he's just constantly pushing away from the canal with his shoulder and leaning out away from the canal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend him and go the other direction. And so that's the second thing I do, is bend him and go the other direction. Now I'm going to make sure I'm bend him in and through that turn, and I want him to soften through that turn. As soon as he softens, then I'm going to let him out of it and go the other direction, and then bend him again and go back along the canal. I'm going to go back and forth along the canal, and and pretty soon he starts anticipating that he's going to turn and go back the other way. And so he starts looking towards the canal because he thinks he's going to turn at any moment. So remember, horses are creatures of habit, and he's going to start anticipating what I'm doing consistently with him. So first of all, I'm guiding him with that outside rein back towards the position I want him to be in. And secondly, I'm actually turning him. I'm asking him to do a one rein stop. Basically it's a rollback, in this case a rollback against the canal, and go the other direction. And that can really help too. And a third way that you can help him through that is if you've taught your horse to move his shoulders in and out, or some people call it lifting the shoulders, but he's basically leading with his shoulders. If I can pick up on the rein, on my inside rein, if the canal's on my left side and he's pushing with his shoulders to the right, then I'm going to pick up with my right rein and my right leg, and I'm going to move that rein across his neck and push with my leg, and I'm going to move his shoulders towards the canal. And that's another way I can put some pressure on him, and then as soon as he straightens up and he's going straight along the canal, I'm going to take that pressure off and just let him go on a loose rein. And remember, it's very important to let your horse go on a loose rein. If you don't, if you just try to micromanage their position, they're never going to overcome that issue. You have to let them commit to a mistake, move off of the straight line, so that you can then you can put pressure on them and correct it. I know this is a hard issue to deal with. It's one of the most challenging issues to deal with, and it's one of the most challenging issues to teach, especially just talking like this on the phone, on the camera. So I hope you guys can think about that and work on it. If you have a horse that magnetizes towards a certain area, that wants to lean towards that area, that doesn't want to go straight, then use those 3 methods to help your horse learn to go straight. Put some pressure on them when they're not doing the right thing, and take that pressure off when they're going straight and they're between your legs and between the reins, and they're not pushing in one direction or the other. They're just going straight forward. Then take all that pressure off and reward them for that. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and make sure to be thankful, live with purpose, live with passion, and as always, stay safe in the saddle.